Hi everybody, Don DeCourcelle here, New Jersey, USA. What I've got for you this time is a little different. I was hired to remote view this target number from a client I had no direct contact with, at least not initially. I was approached to work this target through another well-known remote viewer, David Powell, whom I've worked with in the past, and on this occasion he functioned as the project manager. What follows then is our target reveal Zoom meeting, where I met the client and learned that the remote viewing target involved his interest in high-resolution sky photography, done in the hopes of capturing UFO and UAP flyby activity. He uses full-spectrum gear that captures regular, infrared, and ultraviolet light, shooting at 1/120th of a second per frame. His photos are extracted from the high-res videos, and some of the orbs and objects he's photographed are only visible for fractions of a second. This series of photos turned out to be the remote viewing target. Our client could not identify what flew closer to his camera and then away, and his curiosity led him to have this remote viewing work done. Now that the meeting is over, and it's all captured here on video, I've added snippets of my remote viewing paper session and session summary when the client is talking about them on camera. I've also included some of his photos. I'd like to thank our client for reaching out to us and for his exceptional attention to detail, both in his frame-by-frame photo analyses and in carefully examining the remote viewing work here on camera. Stand by for the Zoom meeting. Here we go. Okay.
And I've got the record sign.
Okay, good. All right. So what were you saying there?
So your reading was very comprehensive. And when I tell you the hits, you will understand. But it painted the whole picture of the actual reason I sent this target to David and sought you guys out.
Wow.
So, and if you want me to explain that, I will, and I'll make it quick.
Okay, now hold on a second. Maybe we should wait for David on this thing.
Fantastic. Yeah, I don't have a problem waiting.
Okay.
I'm really excited though. You made tears come to my eyes. I will let you know that.
Wow. Okay, so let me send a message to David here. Okay, I think we're all here.
Yes.
Hey, Scott, nice to meet you, buddy.
Nice to meet you too. Kind of weird to see you guys on my lap.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I know you had stuff to say and everything. I just want to make sure I was able to get everybody together for this.
Yeah. No sweat. But I'm excited to tell you, Don, some of the hits. I would like to provide you information, Don, so maybe you can connect what you were seeing.
Okay, sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah. You know what? Do
you want to see what the tasking is first before you go in that?
That would be handy, David, if you want to go ahead and just read it and then...
Yeah, we got it. Okay. Just really quickly, Don. The remote viewer will optimally perceive what was photographed on Lone Tree Road in Hollister, California on May 18th, 2025 between 12 p.m. and 1:15 p.m. The specific photographs will be provided with the feedback pertaining to this target. The remote viewer will disregard any and all assumptions by anyone associated with this target and readily identify what is on the photograph provided. If there is intentions associated with or from what is photographed in the target, the remote viewer will perceive and report this data within their session. Let me show you what the actual photo was.
That's part of it.
You see that? Okay, now there's several frames here, Don, okay, that this thing comes through. You see that black thing on the left side of the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're referring to.
Oh, is that up in the air or,
That's why I contacted you.
Wow.
Now this is moving. How fast is this moving?
Okay, it shoots at 120 frames per second. It came through in 6 frames. So, we don't know distance, but it looks like it's in front of the tree, which was about 100 yards away. So it's moving fast, but it's also, when you're playing it on video, it almost corkscrews at the camera. Is it better? It's either corkscrewing or it's going across the sky. I can't tell which because it's too fast.
Holy smoke. This is pretty amazing.
And I'll send you all that stuff, Don, I'll after the fact,
Yeah, okay.
But also, too, I just want to add, just so you know, this is what I sent Don. I kind of covered up the stuff about the photographs because I didn't want to give him any leading. I just wanted to dig into these areas. So I want to show you that.
Good move.
Which, Don, you've seen that. That's what I sent you. Okay.
Okay, Scott, back to you, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So here's your hit number one. You had Courtney Robinson written in there.
Okay.
That was on one of your notes pages. That's the starting point of this. You hit on a lot of things that led up to that photograph. And then I think it's actually a video camera, but I ripped the pictures out. So I've been on this weird journey. My wife and I saw a UFO like a year ago. I'm like, okay, they're real. That whole thing that everybody goes through. I got a cheap infrared camera, got a couple weird pictures. I'm like, I need to upgrade. So I started searching the internet. Courtney had directions that he had gotten from another guy on his webpage, what camera to buy, what filters to use, etc. That was a year ago.
All right.
In the last year, I've captured hundreds of strange things in my area. I've been to Bradshaw Ranch, been to Shasta. Like, I've gone all in on this. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of what you were reading, the energy in the air, we were way up in the mountains. It was just my wife and I, and you actually connected some stuff with her too. We just went up there, parked the truck, ran the camera. It's just kind of
okay. So that explains that initial scribble, which looked like you were among mountains or whatever there.
We were right there. Both my wife and I confronting our belief system in the last year. At night, I'm watching like UFO, metaphysical stuff, remote viewing, ghost hunting. Like, I've gone all in on that.
Yeah.
I'm in one room. But the last year, my wife's been in the other room watching psychics, out-of-body experiences, etc. And somehow we met in the middle on this weird stuff that we can talk about it without thinking we're both weirdos. And
interesting. They're very open-minded. Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's weird, but that's okay. You guys do weird stuff, so I know you're all right talking about it.
Yeah.
So we go ghost hunting, and there's a ghost, and we both see it. And so we sort of been on this adventure together. But I'm really into the UFOs because I have a lot of success capturing these objects on camera. So that would be confronting the belief system, right? I was born and raised Catholic. Like, you're like, okay, how does this all fit together in my world now? Because I know there's another reality that I don't always see, touch, smell, etc.
Okay.
The day it talks about a curious individual, that's me. I'm kind of at this point 3-4 days a week I'm out filming.
Okay.
The filming effort while waiting. Oh, you were talking about an effort in there, a culminating effort. So I've kind of described that to you, where I'm going out, I'm making this very concerted effort to capture things in my reality that my five senses are not able to capture.
Oh, and I have that thing about data and reporting it accurately. Right.
Yes. Because I'm not doing this for like attention getting. I don't have social media. Like, this is my personal journey, So the accuracy of the data is important. Like, is it a bug or is it this,
Yeah, right.
Because I need to know. I don't need to convince somebody else of what I'm going through. Bright specks in the darkness. I have a bunch of other pictures from that day. There's orbs. There's looks like a machine, the little metal spheres, similar to like the Boogosphere thing going on right now. Those seem to be pretty common in our area.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, like, listening to what you're saying, when you put this stuff down on the paper, it conveys some sort of thoughts, but now you're kind of like moving it into what those actually were. This is both exciting, interesting, and a learning experience.
Absolutely.
So really interesting.
I feel like I'm 7 years old again, really. I feel like I'm discovering the world again, honestly.
Wonderful.
But the artistic, you had references to artistic in there. So the only thing I can think, it's either my wife, she's super artistic, or me, that videography is somewhat of an artistic
that it certainly is
to engage in. Yeah. Controlled activity, like I plan it, I have my whole setup, I go out. So it is very controlled, it is very planned, and it is very purposeful. It's not like random sort of stuff.
Right.
The life form connected to decline. This was amazing. Okay, because I didn't even tell David. I'm pretty sure I didn't tell David. My wife was with me. My wife and I have been caring for her parents for the last 7 or 8 years. Her mom sort of end stage Alzheimer's. So that is always consuming her mind, which would kind of put that energy out in the space that we're in.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
So
that explains that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were connecting to sort of her thought energy, if you will, regarding, the stressors that these kind of things come up, because it is a primary thing in our life. Every day she goes there and we're always dealing with stuff. So it's always
really fascinating to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it took me a while. I had to read through it 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, okay, I think I get it. And I know a little bit about remote viewing, kind of how it works and how remote viewers pick up stuff. So that's why I'm trying to give you this stuff in a condensed version and not try to figure it out with you on the fly. The other thing you picked up, all right, and I don't want to get into political beliefs, consumes a lot of my wife's thought power. So that you picked up.
So that came through. Oh, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's causing great indirect stress, right? The stuff that's going on. Okay, on page 10, you tried to focus on getting some sort of visuals. You weren't getting any. What I got here was an artistic vibe, philosophical thoughts, and changes in direction. That is like the mixed thinking probably between me and my wife. Since we were in that space, because all of that applies to both of us or one of us in some way. Cloudy or smoky. What I was thinking is one of the pictures that was in that batch was saturated and it looks cloudy and smoky. So I think you might have sensed the actual photograph that I gave David. There's another one in there that doesn't. Those red ones that you saw on the screen a minute ago, that was a full spectrum picture, right? Infrared and ultraviolet. And then sometimes I overlay saturation so I can get a better view of what's there or try to understand it a little better. And one of those pictures is in there. So that's what I think it may have been, because it was a clear day, very few clouds. Or
can I ask you something, Scott? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to ask you because I didn't even think about this. So that was an infrared lensing you had on that. So even if the frames were slowed down, is it very likely that wouldn't even have showed up in a visual spectrum of light? Or you don't know?
I don't know. I don't know, to tell you the truth, because if to take off the infrared and UV detection ends of this camera, you have to put another filter on there. So I haven't.
It certainly probably wouldn't have looked like that. I'm guessing it wouldn't look like
No. I don't think so. But I don't have enough expertise to answer that accurately.
Yeah. Yeah, just interesting. I just thought I'd ask that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, and I had connected with Dave after the reading to talk about the vibrating tension and the past and how it connects to Akhenaten. That was really strange to me. But honestly, some of the things that I saw in your notes ultimately go back to where my journey began in 2010 and how I've landed here. So I think it might be connected to some traumatic life changes that ultimately led me to where I am today. And had those things not happened, I wouldn't be with a camera trying to capture UFOs, right? I wouldn't have the time or the money.
Wow.
You got this sort of desert setting, this sort of Syria. Up in if you look at the peaks where we were filming, I almost wanted to send you pictures so you know. There are pyramid-looking peaks, and then there are these big spires. Almost, if you're remote viewing, you might think it's like one of the temples in Egypt, right? There's this big mountain of granite it has granite like strips where parts have fallen off.
Hotspot area, Scott? Is that why you take photos there particularly?
I honestly, the only reason I started capturing these things around here is because I was practicing for my trips to Shasta, to the weird places, to the hot spots. So I'm just outside my backyard setting this stuff up, and all of a sudden I'm capturing translucent orbs, sometimes a metal sphere, once or twice like a machine looking, typical flying saucer, a tic tac. I'm like, wait a minute, no one's ever talked about that around here other than the UFO we saw a year ago. There were a couple people that got it, but it was a typical nighttime thing, right? The bright light coming down from space and then disappearing. So we are not a hot spot, but there's definitely stuff in the air around here. It's probably everywhere, honestly. I mean, because I caught it in Arizona, I've caught it in Tahoe. Like all this phenomena seems to be everywhere in some form or shape, you know?
That's fascinating.
But here's what I'm using. The recording from the 1992 crop circles that they got in England, someone's looped it. I grabbed it.
Is that the one with the like little bright orbs that fly over the pasture and all of a sudden the thing appears?
Yeah. So someone was actually able to record those in real time, I guess, back in 1992 or 1982.
Right.
And so I have a looped recording of that and I play that and it makes it very active, especially with like translucent orbs anywhere from, I would say, as small as a foot to like 12-foot translucent orbs. And then I keep getting this metal sphere that shows up. It's weird.
Okay. Jeez,
that's what I tripped out the other day when I saw that Boogosphere thing. I was like,
so much interesting stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Dude, Don, it's funny. I just want to say, when he showed me the photos, I disregarded that object right back because I figured it was way too prevalent to be what he was talking about. Like, this must be his thumb or something in the photo. And then it was like, no, this. And then I saw, I'd gone through the photo, photo by photo, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I'm like, I don't know what this is. It doesn't look like a bug to me, but we'll see.
I thought it was a bug. Yeah, first time, and then I kept looking at it. I'm like, no, there's something else here. It was like intuitive. I'm like, I think there's something here. I'll throw some money at this. I gotta know.
Yeah.
I gotta know what's going on.
Good follow through, Scott. Yeah.
So the you talked about lofty goals to come to a better understanding, right? There was some reference to that.
Right.
And that's the journey I'm on. I'm actually trying to understand this part of my reality. It is a lofty goal because I don't think I'll get there, right? I think a lot of this stuff maybe we're just not meant to understand the way we are. But like I said, it's fun. It's re-energized me.
It does re-energize.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, the elaborate structure at the high point. I think that might be that granite stuff. It's really pretty up there. It's interesting to look at. It's the highest peak around town. My question is, this is an important question. You referred to the life form that stood out and is highly recognizable. The thing that came to my mind, because I'm doing this so often, it could be the same objects in the vicinity that are attracted when I start playing that music or when I'm out filming. Like, I think there's some sort of intelligence behind whatever these things are.
Right.
Maybe they know, like, I'm thinking, it's Scott again. He's out filming. Let's show him, that sort of, like, do they recognize as me? Are they seen me before? That's kind of
There's something about remote viewing and also channeling that I dabble in. It's sometimes when you get a perception, it's more like multidimensional in that it has many flavors that cover the whole subject in a way, which is something that you really need to look for, because if you're just cursory blowing through a session, you're not going to pick up on the things within the things kind of a concept. But it sounds like you're already in that groove. You've kind of specced that out, and that's the right way to do it.
Okay.
I think dabbling is a little understated.
Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
I think dabbling is a little bit understated.
Oh, with the channeling, yeah. I've been doing it for 26
Go ahead.
years.
Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
No. Now that you've told me that, the reading actually makes more sense in the stuff that you picked up, right? These other things, I'm like, well, this connect, because sometimes you can connect what you want to connect, right? But sometimes things just connect. And I want to make sure when I'm reading through your notes, I'm not wanting it to connect,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's called data fitting.
Yeah. I didn't want to do that. I tried to avoid that, but it was kind of hard because when I initially cracked open the email from David and I saw the Courtney Robinson,
Courtney Brown.
My eyes welled up because yes, I know remote viewing is real. I know strange objects in the sky are real, but unless you participate in it, you don't feel it. If
that's right. Yeah. You're not close enough. Yes.
Yeah. It's a very personal experience. The soft energy. I'm not sure if that's me or me and my wife, or if that's what we were seeing in the sky, right?
Normally, that kind of energy conveyed with soft loops like that is very sort of ephemeral, like thinking. It's like mental energy,
Okay.
something like that.
That's kind of the mode I'm in when I do that. I actually uh, try to communicate, not like, hey, show me yourself, like, hey, I'm like, communicate genuine intentions, right? I'm here to observe you and document you. I don't really want to interact with you, but I would like to know more about you. It's sort of that side, sort of thinking.
Sure, yeah.
Um, you had the words unusual, complicated, efforts, high points, and low points determined. I think that might be me. Because I'm putting the efforts and I have these, oh my God, I got it, and then
Yeah.
and then the next day, expectations are higher and like I didn't get it, the next day. And
Oh, I can see how this connects to your effort. Yeah. Efforts, high points, low points. It's even got that multi-dimensional feel again where we're in the hills and mountains and that's your highs and your low points. My heavens.
oh, okay. I didn't even think about it from a physical location perspective.
It's like thought balls, they contain more than just the obvious sometimes. So
You're telling me. And then sort of to summarize it, maybe with this is your reread I got here, the one I just got today.
Yeah. I'm looking at it here too. Yeah.
Soft energy, thought energy, but you put directed towards life / the path forward and then departing. So my question is soft energy or thought energy directed this way, inward, and then or am I the one directing it, or are you able to determine? Because my thought is the reason I captured that object and the reason I've journeyed down this path was to sort of stimulate the thinking and challenge the belief system again, because this thing has done it.
Okay. So just to respond to you a little bit, going back to that retasking, the ghost thing, I just wanted to mention that is a very unusual ideogram. When I draw my ideograms, I sort of like just go like that. It's as simple as that. But every once in a while, the pen will kind of wobble within my fingertips. The result is something unusual. Now, I'm not, I'm just doing the same thing, but I feel this thing wobbling around. That is out of all of the years I've been remote viewing, that has only come up 2 times. Your time being the third.
Wow.
And I'm really surprised that it even can come up at all. It's just such an unusual thing to be repeating in the form that it is. It's really sort of startling to me. So that particular ideogram had an L embedded in the U.
Okay.
Now I was thinking like maybe that's like a ghost or energy, but that could be like an intellect in some sort of craft, conveyance. Okay. Because the next part of the ideogram showed that little loop, which could either be a pointer in the direction that it's going, or it could be a conveyance of some kind.
Okay. Here's the strange thing. I pointed this out to David. Your ideogram, the ghost sign that you made, is actually it very much resembles the shape of one of the frames, that black object. You didn't get to see the frame, but David could show you.
Okay.
The full frame I got, it even in orientation, I had to put it up to my computer screen and go, this looks like the shape. You definitely capture what I was looking for, right? And it's as weird as I thought it was. And so I'm glad.
It's startling for me to hear all of this and to like think about how my stuff is hooking up here.
Yeah. And then the Akhenaten piece, that makes me think of all this, there's this one sort of train of like the Chris Bledsoe kind of thoughts, right? That this is a metaphysical thing, but it does have connections to ancient times and ancient belief systems. And
Oh,
you mentioned
right.
the Akhenaten stuff,
Right,
and
right.
that in the thought form, and it, it inspired some deeper thinking. That ancient life form thing that's always been here, part of our spirituality as human beings, kind of
That
since
is
the
a
beginning of
very
time.
interesting thing to think about because, well, Akhenaten worshipped Aten, which was, they always call it the sun disk, okay?
Okay.
But a lot of UFO photos convey a sense of a glowing light coming off of the thing. It's part of the like anti-gravity mechanism or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just, you know, your
Can I
mind talking about Akhenaten, I'm wondering whether he may have perceived that himself, as like, an orb that was brightly lit and moving around and whatever. And it always shows a disc with rays coming out of the bottom of it. So,
Yeah. David, you
Can
got
I
to
just
show him that
say-
picture.
Oh, I will, but I just want to tell you, Don, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but because it keeps coming up. When I saw your Akhenaten date, I thought it was like that's a weird thing to get in there, But also, again, I got to go back and look at because I have to see your second session. But from a project manager standpoint, Scott, when you film these things, I mean, you're going to find perception in general is getting better for humanity via technology, but also acuity psychically. We're becoming more. And what I've found, just experientially, and I'm sure Don could back this up, is you kind of grow in that area, and they know that you're looking for them, whether it be because these things may be literal non-corporeal entities, they could literally be alive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
What
Could
it
very
feels
well be
like.
something like that. Yeah. And the thing is they move around so quickly. They've been here this whole time. It's just we can't perceive that with our eyes. I mean, these could literally be ghosts. They could be not whatever. But what I wanted to before I got off track, the day after you did this, Don, I pulled a cue from my target pool. Now, my target pools are very abstract targets. I miss most of my own targets because I make them a certain way to be specifically challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got hundreds of them, and it's so they're very random. The target I pulled was the remote viewer will perceive the gifts Akhenatens spoke of in Jimmy's session.
Ooh.
Isn't that we go back to it's interesting because Don and I are kind of on this journey where we've kind of accepted it's not a coincidence anymore because we have so many of these
good way to describe it. So
intertwined. But I like I said, I don't mean to, I just thought because later on I'm going to talk to you about that. But curiosity.
It's things all hooking up once again.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else to comment or questions, Don, unless you have any questions for me.
No, but I would like to see your photos. It sounds like you're into a really fascinating data collection hobby here. And the wealth of material that you've collected thus far, I'm really sort of interested like to see what you're going into and where you're coming from.
I got a Dropbox thing. I'll tell you what, Don, what I'll try to do, because I think I've seen you before, like on Future Forecasters or something like that, right? Or one of those guys.
Yeah, maybe one of Des Smith's.
Yeah. And I'm like, I like that guy. He reminds me a lot of my wife's dad. He's gone, but you just seem like a genuinely really nice person. So, and David really worked with me on this whole thing. So everything I have is the frame ripped from the video, and I have some amazing ones. One of them I'm going to hold back because now that we've done this and you're good at the weird stuff, which I was so excited when David told me you were doing the reading. I might let me save a few bucks and have you do this one because I have one that's stranger than that, and I think we could have a very interesting conversation around it.
Okay. Wait till you go to Shasta. Your camera's going to be on fire, man.
I got one. I got one going into the mountain. I just about crapped my pants.
Oh my heavens!
It's real.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
That place has got a lot going on.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, Don. If you want to talk after this, that's fine. But Yeah, let me put together a Dropbox folder. I'll send you the link, and that way you can either use the pictures or look at them. I'll send them to you too, Dave. Maybe you can use them for some of your projects. I don't know. I don't know how you guys work, but I really appreciate what you guys do.
All right. Well, thank you, Scott. It's fascinating to hear this kind of feedback. And for me as the experiencer to like connect the dots that I got with your dots, See, I'm interested in how my subconscious talks. Okay. That's the whole thing here.
Yeah.
All right. So that's how I came up with that, the ideogram interpretation, as I realized it was communicating, it was talking, and I wanted to study that. Why is it doing it this way? How is it doing it? And as you get into this, that's when you start realizing there's this overlaid multidimensional kind of like information that's coming at you, and it's like distilled down into a scribble in many different interpretations, but they're all hooked up in some way. So fascinating.
It seems to connect to the person, at least for me, it seems to connect to my intuition. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I really needed some amount of validation on this particular one, because I honestly thought someone's trying to send me a message. I don't understand it because I am not sophisticated enough yet, probably in my psychic abilities, for lack of a better description. So I need some help to see if there's something here that I'm supposed to interpret, apply, learn, whatever it is. I felt like there was a lesson. I felt like it was intentional that came across my camera. And I had to sit on it and talk to a few other people, send it around to my friends. Like,
what is it, right?
Weird. Everyone agreed it's weird. And so this is why I took the next step. Because I have a million other things I'd love to get readings on, but they're not that strange.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think you verified it's definitely not a bug. I mean, it's
okay. Good. At least I could tell my wife that. She'll be happy.
Yeah.
So I had to get permission.
Definitely some esoteric thing you caught. But again, I have, to me personally, I have little doubt. I don't want to talk about personal experience, but anyway, you'll find. I mean, once they know that you're looking for them and stuff like that, and I'm sure you're going to be catching them. Like
you're nailing it. That's the way it feels. That's what I mean. About
and it seems like it's pleasant. You have this some kind of like a pleasant type experience. So that'll probably cultivate itself. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yes, it seems to be the way it works for me in my experience too. Once you're sort of like scoping into the unknown, it's like they become aware of you, and now that's creating an opportunity or connection or something, and the experiences grow.
And they are.
You're absolutely correct, and that's absolutely true.
From my experience, and I think from Don's too, I think he would back this up in his own experiences, that there's good things out there, there's bad things out there, but there's good things out there that want to help us, want us to know that they're there. They've been waiting for us to know that they're around, and once you kind of pick up on that. A lot of interesting things happen. You'll see synchronicities, all kinds of weird things, but good things,
Yeah. Right on, you guys. Well, thanks for what you do. This is exceptional. I'm
great. I'm glad you're happy. That's why we do it.
All right.
Very happy. Yeah. All right. Have a good afternoon.
Nice to meet you, Scott.
You too.
See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye now.